All right, here we go. Late night happy hour, a little delayed start there. Sorry about that. Justin Watkins, Adam Hill is here. You okay, Justin? Bad timing. We're a little late after playing some golf this morning.
I'm all right. I took a little 9 o'clock nap, 9 to 9:30, so I can be ready for this.
Adam needed a nap. He did not take one.
I did not, but I'm good. Good to go. This always fires me up, so we're good.
All right. Did anyone watch the Laker game? At least the part of it that counted.
Yeah, the
that
what?
mattered. My God, what an ass whipping!
Quite a contest. Very competitive.
Yeah, Lakers came back angry, killed the Blazers. One quick thing from the sports world, man. We had George Karl on like 2 months ago, and he didn't sound very healthy. Yeah. He was fired up tonight. I missed this moment. We're gonna have to go back and find out what Mark Jackson said, Adam. But you said, or you pointed out that George Karl kind of ripped into Mark Jackson.
Yeah, he was very mad. I guess Mark Jackson was saying something about George Karl's defensive prowess as a coach, and it didn't sound like he heard it, but it sounds like somebody told George Karl about it, and he got very fired up, just very angry about it, and tweeted. I'm trying to find exactly what he said.
Justin, NBA care at all?
No. I mean, the funny thing is like when I was a fan of the NBA, I was a Trailblazer fan because I lived up in Oregon, and it was during the Blazer time period when they were competitive. So yeah, I was into it when I was up there. But tonight I was watching, hoping the Flames would beat the Stars in hockey, and they started up 3-0, and I was like, yeah, this is good. We'll get a game 7. So the Knights will face hopefully the Flames at worst, maybe Calgary and maybe Vancouver. But then the Dallas Stars scored 7 unanswered goals over the course of a period and a half.
That goaltending was a debacle, just in every way. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
CJ, settle down. It's 5 minutes.
What happened?
No, CJ said, "Are we done with the Lakers?" Oh, sorry. I thought he said, "Are we done with the Lakers talk?" No, we're done with the Lakers or done talk. I think we have to see them shoot the ball consistently. I mean, they don't have to shoot like they did tonight, but they have to shoot the ball well. This is the first time in the bubble they shot well.
Well, they also defended well, so.
Well, it helps to break Dame's finger.
Right. Well, he did it to himself, so he dislocated a finger. So we'll see how he is. It's on his non-shooting hand, but yeah, I started out with the clunky beginning with the sports talk because this is the kind of night that, say, a week from now when the Golden Knights are back, I would be out at a bar watching the Lakers and the Golden Knights because they were going head-to-head at least once in the last week or so, and my TV quandary at home needs bars to be open. What happened? We were all talking on the air yesterday, all our connections. Oh, the bars are going to be open. And then we find out today, Sisolak, 2 more weeks. Come on.
No, I did not say the bars would be open. I said the task force was going to meet and that the bar's attorney said that they would be open by Thursday night. And that I said they're going to appeal the district court ruling, but before the Supreme Court can rule on it, that the bars will be open. That's my prediction. So I think we're within a couple weeks, maybe even sooner. It could be a couple days. It sounded like they had a plan that they sort of liked from the bar owners, but I think they just needed a little bit more time to flesh it out and maybe to work on some fixes. But I definitely didn't feel good about it after hearing right before the Clark County bar reopening, hearing that they were keeping Washoe County closed. So I didn't think that boded well for Clark County.
So it's not, I mean, I think it was reported as this is 2 more weeks. It's not necessarily 2 full weeks.
Well, it's 2 weeks before they have it planned for the committee to meet again, or the task force. But the governor can do it at any time. I mean, the task force only has the power that the governor has given to them and basically said, I delegate this power, but he can at any time, issue a new declaration, He can do whatever he wants in this regard, just like he did when he opened back up the casinos and closed the bars. So I just think we're within 2 weeks. I think at the latest. I think it could come sooner, but I don't have any kind of inside knowledge on that. This is not breaking news. This is just an absolute guess.
By the way, there's a question there. If they close the bars and the numbers didn't go down, maybe the problem isn't the bars. Our numbers have gotten a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Our death numbers are getting very bad, but that's a lagging indicator of what was going on, 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, all numbers other than the death numbers are trending down. And the first one you look at is the cases, so long as there's an ample number of tests, or this is what logically makes sense to me. Then lagging behind that should be the hospitals, ICU beds, ventilators, and then lagging behind that should be the death toll. The case numbers, 7-day average is trending pretty decently down now. Hospital, ventilator, ICU usage is also starting to slightly trend down. Death numbers are peaking, which is, like you said, it's a delayed stat. That's what you would expect to see. That death numbers would follow within a couple weeks of the peak of the hospitalization numbers, and that's what we're seeing.
I like my very fancy lagging indicator term, Justin. Don't.
That was what you said. That was good.
Don't take that away from me. Can I address Gil? Gil, I hope you're being a troll and you're not this fucking stupid. Listen. A lot of people come up with these ridiculous, like, oh, it doesn't transmit at rallies, but it transmits at political conventions. I guess it's a political thing. Okay, we understand that it transmits much, much more inside than outside. So that addresses the first one. And the food thing, it's not food that keeps COVID away. Nobody has ever said that. The reason you have to have food is so people sit at tables and don't congregate at bars. That's why you have to have food. It's very fucking simple. It's not that complicated. And I don't understand how people keep saying these things, because either they're just really, really dumb, or they're just trying to come up with this nonsense logic that tries to explain away, well, I can do this, but I can't do this. Like, no, there are reasons for a lot of these things. Yes, casinos being open and bars being closed, there's no excuse for that. That's just too much power in the casino industry. But all these other things, like, there are reasons. I know I do curse way too much here. Like, there are and these things get me so fired up. There are reasons that these things are in place. The food, like, nobody ever said food stops transmission of the virus. That's never been said by anybody. But it is this whole talking point that's out there of like, oh, they say food stops it because they want restaurant. Like, no. There are reasons. If you have it at a bar with no food, everybody congregates at the bar and packs together, and then they get drunk, and then they stop even following any kind of regulations. That's why.
I like it. I'm gonna address CJ's comment about that Sisolak thinks he's just bought some time because they sued. At this point, I think based on the actions of the governor's office, I don't think he's particularly scared of lawsuits. I mean, he said that the churches couldn't meet. They took that all the way to the United States Supreme Court, and he won there. I'm still surprised by that decision, to be honest with you. Like, that one, it was a 5-4 decision. There's some scathing dissents in that. I don't know about that one, but they went up there, they won. They've got to feel pretty good if they've won that one, that they're going to win their closures of whatever they've done so far. So, I don't think that Sisolak's making decisions based on a lawsuit, but I do think that if he can make them go away, that it would be helpful. And with the numbers trending the right way, I just think that the decision's coming soon.
I think Adam just powered down to honor the request by Governor Sisolak and NV Energy to slow it down a little bit with the power. So
yeah,
you gonna be okay?
I did. I'm trying to conserve. I'm trying to cut down on power. I'm being a good citizen.
Is this a valid statement about churches? Tell the church taxes, then complain. I don't think all churches are scam artists.
No, well, tax issues got nothing to do with their First Amendment rights to freedom of religion and to assemble. So, I mean, it is what it is. I don't.
But
Yeah.
churches shouldn't be tax exempt, though.
I mean, tax exemption. This is a really broad-based conversation, but tax exemption is a way of endorsing or discouraging activities. In theory, you tax exempt something that you want to encourage people to do, and you tax heavily something you want to discourage people from doing. So things that harm yourself or others and that place a burden on everybody else, you want to tax: cigarettes, alcohol, those kinds of things. Things that are beneficial to society, you can use the tax code as a way to encourage people to participate in that activity for whatever reason. I don't know that millennials have fully bought into this, but for a long time, home ownership in the United States is seen as something we want to encourage. It's part of the American dream. And there's a lot of tax benefits to home ownership versus renting a home that really, I think, are somewhat outdated in today's society. If you're renting a home, that shouldn't necessarily put you in a better financial position than owning a home. But that's I don't think that's going to change anytime soon, because the realtor lobby power is strong. The contractor lobby power is strong. They want to build new houses. They want people to buy them. They want to be encouraged to buy them. But if we say our churches are tax exempt because we want to encourage the activity of religious ceremonies, I mean, okay, I don't know that would be top of my list, but I understand the reasoning behind it.
Everyone's very salty tonight.
Yeah.
You got to take a nap, everybody, on the show and in the show. What's going on here?
That's right.
What's wrong with you guys?
Well, it's funny on Bill's comment there about California. I hear this argument all the time. Like, look at what the taxes do to California. California's got like a major surplus in their government. Their government services dwarf in quality and quantity our services. And I'm not saying I want to be California, because maybe they're getting a little, maybe their tax code and all of their statutes make it a little bit difficult to operate as a business. And I want to encourage businesses to operate here. But just the simplistic approach of higher taxes have ruined California. Number one, I don't know that California's been ruined. And number two, it's not just directly connected to taxes. It's all about it's not like Nevada, where they have the Nevada revised statutes and that's the rules. I mean, there is so many different codes that you have to comply with in California, and some of them are arguably conflicting. It's very, very difficult to be in compliance in the state of California.
All good on this one? Looks like it. All right, let's bring up this topic a little. Well, it's related. Some COVID talk, post-COVID talk, is as we potentially get a vaccine down the road. This one's interesting. Headline: Coronavirus. People who reject vaccine could be barred from work, school, etc. What does this mean? Could this be coming? Does everyone have to cooperate and take the vaccine, or they're going to be pushed out of society?
I think that's probably likely, and we have precedent for it. You just look at the schools right now. You can't put your kids in schools without vaccines, and there are some states that have differing rules on that. But by and large, you cannot enroll your kids in a public school without vaccination. You can't do it in Nevada. And from a private employer standpoint, if I say, hey, in order to work here, you need vaccines, I'm totally within my rights to do that. It would be interesting to see if this became a debatable issue about the safety and the long-term effectiveness of a vaccine, and how unions collectively bargain this. But outside of unions, I don't see how you're going to be able to avoid it, so long as it's got all the government approvals that, all the vaccines that our kids get before they enroll in school do.
So how do we deal with the shaded area that says fact is there'll probably be 3 groups who will refuse the vaccine: the anti-vaxxers, people who want to turn the vaccine into a political issue, and people who are afraid to take the vaccine because they worry it was rushed and not properly tested.
So I'm not worried about number 1 and number 3 because
I'm worried about number 3.
Well, the people who worry about the rushed and not properly tested, I'm going to rely on the experts. If it gets FDA approved, they know more than you, dude. And
No. The FDA has become way too politicized now. Like, I would agree. Ordinarily, 99.99% of history, I'd be with you, and I'm very pro-vaccine. But I feel we are going to announce a vaccine like November 1st. Like, this is going to be the election, quote, October surprise game changer. Like, I'm not down with this. Like, I can't wait for a vaccine. I'm very pro. But if they do this for political purposes, that could change the equation of things here.
What has led you to believe that the FDA is politically motivated?
Well, I don't necessarily know they're doing it now. What I'm saying is I foresee a post office like situation, and we just say, like, in October, whoever, Jared Kushner is running the FDA and the vaccine has been approved.
Yeah,
the saliva test got approved last week. It doesn't sound like it was fully all the way vetted through. It got approved on an emergency basis, and I'm kind of excited and intrigued to see what the results are. But it seems like it didn't go through all the proper channels that they usually would. Like, this was kind of rushed through.
Yeah, and they disclosed that, and if that's part of the disclosure. But I guess from my perspective throughout this pandemic, both CDC and the FDA, I think, have been pretty apolitical on this, pushing back against comments from the administration that conflict with the science. And I think I don't foresee that being the case. Now, if it's in November 1st or something like that, maybe it'd be sort of tricky, but by and large, here's the deal. If the FDA approves it and you as an employer say, I'm not going to allow you to continue to work here unless you get that vaccine in the next 30 days, and your employee sues you, I think the employer is going to win, especially in this state. It's an at-will employment state. I can create the rules for my employment so long as they're not discriminatory. Where things could, in theory, get interesting is on religious grounds that I'm not taking the vaccine, but we have a ton of legal precedent in that regard that say, hey, you can object to taking it on religious grounds, but you don't get to subject everybody else to the dangers of exposure to a disease on your religious grounds. And so therefore it is a reasonable imposition on your religion to require the vaccine.
Sorry, I cut you off. You said 1 and 3 you weren't worried about. 2 you might have been worried about. So I don't know what the other step in that one was.
I don't remember what it was either.
Okay, I cut you off, so I was just apologizing.
What are you looking for? The TMZ story?
Yeah. There was 3 items listed, and he said he wasn't worried about 1 or 3. I said I was worried about 3, but I think 2 he was going to actually get into. That's fine. 3
groups: anti-vaxxers, the people who want to turn the vaccine into a political issue, and the people who are afraid to take the vaccine because they worry it was rushed and not properly tested.
Right.
Yeah. So the second one is where things would get really dicey, where the vaccine becomes a mask issue. That's one side's ignoring science, but it becomes that political side's bailiwick. And now all of a sudden we're going to have some states that are not requiring the vaccine, some states that are requiring the vaccine. And I'm talking specifically about our state. And then we rely on tourism. And now we're put in this tough situation of, do we continue to keep tourism open and not require this vaccine because we're going to have people come from non-vaccine states? That's what worries me. so that Nevada, in essence, effectively becomes a non-vaccine state, not because of science, not because the test isn't safe, but because one political party says, this is just full of a bunch of Karens and say it's imposing upon our rights and this isn't right, we're not going to do it. And a whole bunch of the states that are more aligned with that particular political party join in that fight and carry the day for them.
And you said other states that aren't. I mean, we're opening to countries that might not be down with the vaccine. I mean, we're open to the whole world.
Right. Well, I mean, currently not really, right? Not effectively.
Right.
We're not really open to the world.
Yeah. I feel like when we do have a vaccine, that's when we're like, all right, we're all open. We're ready to go. And that's when it can become kind of scary.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one that worries me, is just like, I mean, I hope it all happens, man. I hope we get a vaccine. I hope everybody believes in it. Everybody except the anti-vaxxers, fuck them, whatever. Go do your thing. You can go be sick on your own, but the rest of us want to move on, right? Like, let's get past this sucker.
Some comments along the way. AJ Real LC says FDA knows more than you. Really? You said that earlier. The FDA knows more than us.
FDA knows more than me. I mean, if we got epidemiologists in the comment section who want to talk about this, and infectious disease experts, and somebody who works for Pfizer want to talk to me about what's going on, that's cool. I'm speaking for me. Like I said, I think that they've done a good job in what became a political issue to stay apolitical.
I feel like
I know. I'll fucking lose my mind when the Karens on the anti-vaxxers come out with this shit. I will now.
You're asking if there's epidemiologists in the comments. I would bet no, but I will say that AJ Real LC seems to be an expert in Facebook memes that tell him that he's smarter than everyone.
Okay.
Just based on, the comments so far.
Going back a ways, Sports Guy 06 says, serious question, where did the marijuana tax money go? This is something we haven't updated in a while.
It went right where they said it was going to go. So this is a whole bunch of, I shouldn't say outrage is a little bit of a tough word to use here, but I'm going to say outcry about, they told us the marijuana money was going to go to schools and they fucking lied. And that's not what happened. So when we voted for it on the ballot, it was indicated that there would be a 20% tax that would go into the school fund from marijuana sales. That did happen. That happened from the day that the law was formally adopted in that next legislature. And I was in that legislature, I think. Maybe. I don't remember. That's funny. Yes, I was. Okay. But then the governor put in an additional excise tax on the wholesale production and distribution. And now I should know this answer. I think he did 10%. He might have done 15%. And the idea was that was going to also go to schools. But we have this little quirk in the Nevada Constitution, I'm unaware of any other state that has it, that says you must fund schools first before you do any other budgetary item. Well, the Republicans in that particular legislature were upset about some fucking thing or another. I can't remember what it was, but you need 2/3 vote to any budget item, any item that raises taxes, anything that takes away money. So we needed a 2/3 vote on the governor's proposal of the additional excise tax. And we couldn't get that up done and approved in a deal made with the Republicans before the school budget needed to be done. So for that first legislative session, they still imposed the tax, but it was put towards the rainy day fund. So everything that it said in the ballot question was done exactly to a T. Exactly what it said it did. The additional tax, which was not required by the ballot question for one legislative cycle, went to the rainy day fund, which has now been exhausted. We have zero in the rainy day fund. We just used all $800 million that was set aside for this pandemic. So now all of the tax money for marijuana does in fact go to schools.
Will we maybe have to use it at some point to cover any stadium shortfalls?
Not yet. I'm not worried about that yet, but the day's coming. The good news is when they passed the stadium bill that they required a 2-year sort of set aside escrow fund to be built up over the first 4 years of the tax going into place, and that you always had to have 2 years of payment set aside and banked. Well, the hotel tax went so well that they were actually able to build up a year and a half in the first under 3 years of the hotel tax going in. So we have a year and a half's worth of payments able to be made. That was as of March. So now we're at roughly, let's call it a year. We still have a year full of payments set aside to make. So hopefully within a year, our hotel tax revenue is back in place where it's at what those projections were back then.
This isn't really a legal question necessarily, but it was just an argument that I had that I wanted to point out to you, that somebody that I argued very much, like very heated arguments about the stadium funding with, I was talking to them and said, oh, by the way, remember our argument about the stadium funding? Like, this is going to be trouble now. Like, we're going to fall behind. Well, the stuff, like, this is what I was talking about. And the answer was, nobody saw this coming. And I was like, exactly. That's the whole fucking point.
Yeah, you never see it coming. You got to be prepared for what you can't see coming, right? That's the point. Yeah,
it's amazing.
I know. It's a pretty empty stadium, though.
Oh, I'll send you some pictures tomorrow, Justin, from inside the stadium.
Awesome.
Big Raiders practice.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, big Raiders practice tomorrow in the stadium. First event. I mean, fans can't be there, obviously. It's closed to the public, but they're going to be in there and learn like where their lockers are and what door they're supposed to go in for game day, and kind of go through a walkthrough of what a game day will be like for the Raiders. So should be a pretty cool experience for them.
Yeah, I want to hear your perspective on it, because I got to tell you, like, from all the photos I can see on social media, that fucking roof looks ugly as shit, dude. I wonder how it really looks in person, the lighting of it, because it makes it look old. It makes it look like it's weathered already from those photos. So hopefully it doesn't look like that in person.
Yeah, I'll see. Well, I'll say this: the nicest stadium I've ever been inside and like walked around is I think it's called US Bank now in Minneapolis, and that was the same, like all the same people that worked on it. And so when I went there, I was kind of excited to see what it was going to look like inside here. Thank you. I think that's sarcastic, but thank you. I wanted to see what it was going to look like in here, because if they're doing a lot of the same things there that are here that they did there, it's going to be unbelievable. But I think you're right. It's some of the pictures are weird. I do want to see what it looks like tomorrow, with a game going on, how the lighting is from upstairs, because we'll be way up in the press box. I'm very interested to see it. But you're right. Like some of the photos are like, oh boy, it's a little weird.
Yeah, and it's super fucking cluttered up there with how they have the lights and speakers and shit hung up there.
Yeah,
it's like, the pictures. The renderings showed a completely it was clear glass. Now I get why you don't want to do that. You'd roast everybody in the stadium if you did that. So thankfully, I'm glad they didn't do that unless they had some super ultra tinting. But what they didn't have in any of those renderings is a bunch of shit hanging from the ceiling that like comes halfway down into your view. I think, fuck, man. Every picture I see of that, I'm like, man, that doesn't look great to me. But at the same point, how often am I looking up at the ceiling?
Yeah, I don't think their plan is for people to be looking straight up. Like, keep your eyes on the team losing on the field.
Yeah.
Bills fan Naked City Chris chimes in with, does this count as one of the predetermined amount of events they have for public funding?
No, I don't think so. It.
What was
they're
the
gonna have a tough time
projections?
doing that.
51 events a year? Is that what they said they could get?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, leading up until the lockdown, it seemed like they were well on track to hit that number.
Oh yeah.
So that's good. There was a lot of desire to get here, to be in that stadium. So that's good. They hit those numbers. Yeah, maybe the 750 million gets is worth the investment. I'm never going to get on board with us owning the stadium and giving up, hundreds of millions of dollars in property tax. That was just a fucking coup that was never once discussed as part of the bill or the hearing on it or nobody caught that. And we were, all three of us were railing on that as they were debating it. So I'll never be on board with that part, but maybe the 750 is, if we get this vaccine on November 1st, like Adam says, and we start filling that stadium,
But
maybe it'll be worth it.
I think the saliva test is big for that too, if it does work. But I'm skeptical of it. The question about the parking, it's open, by the way. Like the fence and the gates and stuff are open. Like you can go over there and check it out. And I have a couple of times the last couple of weeks. Tomorrow, I don't think there's going to be enough people there to really determine anything about parking. But it is stunning how little parking there is when you drive over there. Like we knew there was going to be no parking, but you go over there, it's like I think there was more parking spots at Silverado High School when I went there. Like it is crazy how few parking spots there are. As much as I knew it was going to be a problem, I could not believe it. Yeah, you can walk around the stadium, Brady. You can go park right at the gate, walk around the stadium.
Don't forget, the stadium is going to be the first one built in the new rideshare era. So now what you should remember is rideshare is actually located at Valley View and Tropicana. Which right now, that is the plan. They bought, what is it, like the freest transportation center. It is, that's where it is, Valley View and Tropicana. You will have to walk up Hacienda and find your way over there. So,
have you ever been to Valley View in Tropicana? That's like
have I been? Of course.
It's a very important landmark for a certain industry.
Yeah. Wait, I retract that. Shit.
It's near a truck stop. If that helps.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of the logistics.
They're called lot lizards.
Yeah. Some of the logistics, Adam. Mark says, are they busing the athletes over from the practice facility?
Yeah, that is the plan as far as I know. I mean, I know media is parking at the stadium, but I'm pretty sure they are busing, which, I think I don't think that's the plan. I think the players will drive there during the year, but they're gonna bus them over so they could all show them like, hey, this is where you park, this is where you walk in. Like literally, they are doing like a walkthrough. Like they don't want guys opening night to be going to the stadium for the first time. And that literally is what they talked about today. They said, we want the guys to know what door you walk in, which direction you head, where the locker room is, where your locker is in the locker room, like how you get from the locker room to the field when when you start going. Like these stadiums, I don't know how many people have been like in the bowels of some of these modern stadiums. Like they're pretty tough to navigate. And I think they want the players to understand, like, okay, you go here for your locker, you walk out here onto the field. There's a lot of those steps, and somebody said like high school orientation, exactly. That's what they're doing tomorrow, which is, it sounds crazy, but it also makes some sense when you hear them talk about it.
I've gotten lost at stadiums and arenas. I think I went out the wrong door and there was no re-entry at is it still the Bell Center in Montreal? Is that who the sponsor is? But that arena is so freaking big that I got freaking lost, and I was like, I don't know how to get back in. It wasn't good. Real quick, Ray on the parking on the rideshare first reacted with a what the blank. Then he said that's like a mile. I mapped it at 9/10 of a mile. So
they better have a.
Brady said it's 8/10 of a mile. Naked City Chris was commenting on VGK, but someone else, I think Brady said, "Oh, you need a freaking ride share to get to the ride share." Oh,
and you're gonna need like a little EMT fucking tent at the 0.5 mile mark, because the first couple games of the season is gonna be 100 degrees out, and people are gonna be dropping like fucking flies walking to it. They're all dehydrated. They're all hammered. They're supposed to walk a mile in 110-degree heat. Come on.
Okay, this is supposed to be the weekend. I believe this weekend was a home game in the preseason, right? It's been like 120 degrees.
Dude.
Like, what on earth? That's insanity.
They better get Elon Musk on the fucking line and get a fucking tunnel under to this stadium real quick.
Truth from the City got lost at Chase. I actually thought Chase, it's weird, but it actually was fairly easy to navigate outside. But if he says that he was tripping balls, as he said, I guess it would be a little bit more difficult. I actually made the bad decision after I went to Chase for Blazers Warriors this year of walking back to the Embarcadero BART station, which is like 2.5 miles. I just wanted to walk around San Francisco in the middle of the night because I think it's hilarious in that city. It was probably a mistake. There was a lot going on.
Yeah, stay out of the Tenderloin, bro. Don't walk there at night.
There was some weird areas.
Yeah, man.
What is that, Justin?
The Tenderloin? I don't know it. Like I don't know San Francisco well enough that I can tell you like the cross streets, but it's like this particular part of San Francisco that's like, you can mark it and shape and it looks like a tenderloin fucking steak. And it's like some of the worst freaking areas to be in, massive amounts of homelessness and drugs. And it's just, you don't want to be there. And the only reason I even know about it is during law school, I was there for a law school competition. It's dumb. But anyway, we were there and they were supposed to be driving us to the University of San Francisco. And this fucking guy takes a turn and heads out. He's like, oh shit. And all of a sudden it's just like one street away and there's fucking people all in the streets just fucking standing there. It was mayhem. And he's like, oh shit, I turned into the Tenderloin. And I'm like, wait, what? And so he was explaining all of this as he's trying to navigate his way out of the Tenderloin in San Francisco. And it was like a whole nother world, exactly 1 block away from where we should have been.
So Steve, I think I might have told you about where I stayed for, as Justin said, I went to Yale, San Francisco this year, basketball. And I stayed at it was a courtyard that was on like the main street. And the front desk was like, oh, what are you doing in town? I was like, well, I'm here for work in Oakland, but I'm staying in the city tonight because I'm going to a basketball game at USF. And she was like, okay, like how you getting there? I said, I'm walking. And she goes, okay, it's that way. And I was like, what does that mean? She goes, it's that way. And I was like, okay, like I know, I saw a map. And she goes, I'm telling you, if you walk out of the hotel, don't go left, go right. And I was like, yeah, I know the map. She was like, trust me. So I was like, of course, I'm going to go outside and go left. I went out there just to see, and my goodness. I mean, I loved it. I walked around after the game. I walked around for like 3 hours just checking out. It was such chaos. But you are absolutely right. It is a different planet. And you're literally on the main street on the border of what they consider the Tenderloin district. You're on the main street, and it's really nice. I think it was like a courtyard. There's like a really famous restaurant that was actually really good. And then there's like a BMW dealer, and you're like, oh, this is a nice little neighborhood. And then like 100 feet away, it's a city of homeless people that it's just craziness going on over there. It's nuts. Very fun.
It's not just homelessness. The drugs, drug use is just open and fucking everywhere. Needles, fucking poop. It's
poop.
Yeah. But I think it's developed because like it's a homeless camp. And I think people are like, well, there's not going to be any law enforcement or anything going on here because this is just what's happening. And so then, yeah, all the drug addicts and there's drug deals and it's craziness over there. But again, I was very intrigued. I was in all night.
All right. Next story up. Well, there's another one we talked about right at the beginning of the lockdown. And you remember this, Justin. It was the gyms and what they were going to do with membership fees since, hey, government mandate says you got to close down. And the gyms, a lot of them have been unwavering in their fight to keep the fees. So in Washington, you've got this place, Town Sports, owns Washington sports clubs in the D.C. area. Now they're trying to crack down on them. So what's going to happen here?
Depends on what the contract says. If the contract is silent as to who bears the risk of closure due to a pandemic, then the courts are going to decide. I imagine that the courts would decide with the public on that front. But if the contract says if there's any government mandated closure, or if we're closed due to a pandemic, or if there's some sort of infectious disease, whatever it may be, there's some language that they can hang on that says if we are closed due to civil order, then we can continue to charge our fees during that closure. Then they're going to have a tough hill to climb.
And you think most places do have that in contracts? Like they knew ahead of time to put that in?
Well, civil closure is not something new. That's not unique, but it's usually not intended for in modern day contracts for pandemic use. What it's more like is let's say you're a gym that's next to a nice hotel and they're closing down all the neighboring buildings because the president's staying in that hotel for a time, or they're doing work on the streets around your business and there is no ingress or egress into the business, so you have to close. So that's generally speaking what it's intended for. But if you're legit, so that might be in the contract. The question is whether or not this is even appropriate to consider as civil authority, or if it's more about pandemic infectious disease. And frankly, the courts just haven't decided on that. And they haven't decided, they haven't decided whether this is an act of God or if this is man-made. There's a lot of general terms that are thrown into every contract that could apply in these situations, but it's going to take the courts to start hearing some of these cases to create that legal precedent that everybody starts to follow.
As Brady asked the question, I think what would determine, quote, act of God? I mean, it seems like you said that it hasn't been decided yet in this case, but what would determine
that? Right, to the extent that you can determine the origins. And as I understand it now, before it was largely considered to have been like the story was from like a market where there's bats being cooked, and that's how it got started. And I guess that's not the case now, and that they believe this to have been man-made. I don't know the answer to that, and frankly, I don't even know about the legal precedent for some sort of infectious disease and determining its actual cause and determining whether or not that is an act of God. So I can't give you a straight answer on that. What they would look into is, to the extent it can be determined what the origin is, that's going to go against, that's probably going to go against act of God, because it's if you could determine the origin, there's going to be some source of some action on the part of humans there. I would imagine.
I guess this is probably ridiculous, but has anybody challenged that as a legal term in the sense of, as I certainly would, that there is no God? And like, why is this a legal term? There's no such thing. What are we basing this on?
No, not that I'm aware of. Like, they are not in saying act of God, espousing that God exists. Not at this point, not with the use of that terminology. They're saying something that can't be explained and or wasn't created by human hands, right? That's the sort of legal terminology, and that's what's been accepted. I mean, what do you act of the universe? Whatever. I mean, if you wanted to start using something different, then I guess lawyers need to start putting it in their briefs and arguing for the change. But I've never heard any argument on the part of an attorney to do so.
I might finally go to law school now and just become a lawyer just so I can challenge that.
Yeah, well, I'll make this promise. I'll make this promise to you that if in any of my legal pleadings in the future I have to reference act of God, which is very unlikely. It's not impossible. I have before. If I have to reference act of God, I will include a footnote that says that the proper terminology should be act of universe, as there are citizens that believe there is a God just as well as there are citizens that believe that there isn't a God, and the court as a government institution should not weigh in on that debate.
I appreciate that. Can you call it an act of Tatis Jr. since he is now?
I'm a Padres fan, so let's do it. Let's do it. Freaking
trust me.
Slam Diego Padres, baby.
4 straight games with a grand slam. Slam Diego Padres. Also, I will tell you this right now. God can't hit like Tatis Jr. So that's not even a fair comparison.
I love it, man. It just, you know what? If I'm gonna say that, put myself at the center of the universe, that if the Golden Knights win the Cup and the Padres win the World Series in a time in which I can go to neither event, even though I've been a fan of their teams, it will just be perfect because all my teams are generally losers. I rarely get to cheer for a winner, and that would just be poetic justice. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
I was just talking about the viability of gyms in the future from a safety standpoint. Bill saying here, I can't see how gyms will work. And also a bunch of the guys are commenting and saying, something along these lines, by being dicks about their membership, they're ensuring they won't get new members. So like, is it a desperate cash grab as the gym industry goes under, or they just don't give a shit? Because it feels like they're making these decisions and operating right now in a vacuum, as if we're not seeing that they're screwing over their members. Like, who's going to sign up in the future?
I think it could be both, right? Especially in today, not all gyms are these big, massive corporations. I mean, especially in the CrossFit world, a lot of them are just, single owner, small gym, 50 members, that they just do CrossFit all day long. Like, those gyms have got to be hurting. I'm a member of a CrossFit gym, and it closed, and I didn't get any sort of refund. I didn't ask for it. I want them to be able to make their way through it. And it's a small little community. I bet you everybody feels the same as I do. And if they were able to financially afford it, we're willing to continue to pay the fees to help see the owner through.
All right, you ready? You ready? It's that time of night. Are you ready?
No.
Let's do it.
I haven't watched this one. It's a really long video. Justin's the boss here. He gets very frazzled. He's very on edge. He doesn't have patience for Karens. He goes full Adam Hill, as if we're talking about Adam Hill's eyebrows. Justin will lose it on Karens in the same way. The video is very grainy. I hope we have sound. I'm praying this works. Let's punch it up. It appears this is a drive-through. So we've now got, I can't even name all the Karens. They've all got their little titles, and Gardner Karen, and of course the last couple of weeks we talked about what DMV Karen actually turned into Jim Karen. So here's
this was an El Pollo Loco. Is it a pollo? I was looking at the you can see the menu there, and it looks like El Pollo Loco to me.
All right, but here we go.
Oh my God, dude.
All right, first of all, she is clearly blitzed, right? Holy
yeah. And I think it's a Roberto's. But go ahead.
Wow.
Well, everybody's drunk at Roberto's, so
yeah,
that makes sense.
Wow. Zoinks it is. Or as Ray said, she and drugs.
Yes.
All right.
Drugs are on her.
Keep fucking laughing, bro. You want to know why? You want to know fucking why? Oh my God! Keep fucking laughing, cause you black bitch. You fucking black. You black hanging out with rich white kids, and that's your problem. And that's your problem. Oh, no, fucking no. Then you're no fuck you. Oh, I'm getting you pissed out. I'm getting you fucking pissed out. Because that is your fucking shit. I'm getting you fucking pissed out. Oh, I ain't checking shit out, bro. I ain't checking shit out, bro. I ain't checking fucking shit out. Nah. Nah, fucking nah. Woo! And what's so good is you ignorant white fucks. You little millennials sitting here videotaping my ass.
How old are you?
Oh my god. You're so, you little millennial. Y'all like, nah. You fucking millennials is the best thing that just hit the fucking joint, dude. Fuck you. And fuck you. And the fact that he isn't Crikey. Look at his species right here. He's got you all twisted. That's so funny. That's the great thing is that he's got you all twisted.
Listen, man. If the cops come, we all fucked right now. So why don't we just get in the car and calm down?
Oh, ain't no cops coming from this shit.
You out here yelling with your titties halfway out?
Everybody twisted.
You smell like twisted teas. Like, calm down.
You have everyone twisted on everything that you have to spare out. So good for you.
Ready?
So good for you. So good for you.
All right.
Where do you want to get?
That was it. We want more. Wow.
I don't even know if she's a Karen. I don't even know if she's a Karen.
Oh, she's definitely not a Karen. I fucking hate this lady worse than I hate any Karen.
Ah, come on.
What?
That was a pickup.
Yes. No.
Why?
I can't stand that shit.
Well, she's drunk. That's
Just the fucking drunken lecture is just, I can't take that shit. I can't fucking take it.
I mean, she made some good points.
She had the na going for her. Yeah, like I've hung out with you guys enough to know that you guys would fucking love this,
No.
and I would fucking hate it.
Who's giving us now? Matt, you're a Karen. You're a Chad.
Huh?
I love it. I love it. I know you guys well enough. Yeah, I know you'd love this.
You would. You told me, Steve, you would drive by this and get out of this line. You would drive up next to it. You'd start fucking asking questions, egging people on, having conversations.
Here's the thing about me. Yes, I would hate her, but I would know that everybody else hated her so much that I would try to get her going more and more.
Yeah. I have no fucking tolerance for this shit. This is like...
That's awesome.
Nah.
I hate it so much. I would be like, let's go, guys. And you guys would be like, well, hold on. And Steve would be starting so much shit by befriending this lady and helping her to try to make her point. So what you're saying, is this what you're saying?
Nah.
Do we want to try another Karen video?
Yes, as long as it's not a her.
This is actually a Karen. It's a hotel. Well, let's see. Woman gets into it with hotel employee and all hell breaks loose.
Oh, boy.
The cardinal sin, though, of course, didn't turn the phone sideways, but we'll deal with it. It's our Karens of the week. First one turns out to be no. She's not a Karen. She's just drunk with her cans hanging out. And you know what? I give credit to those kids. They played it well. All right. Let's see. It's kind of small, but whatever. That's what she said. Ready?
Yeah, go for it. I gotta find my charger here in a second. Go for it.
Okay. Bitch, you gotta go get the manager. No, bitch, we gonna go get the manager because he be playing with me.
Oh, shit. Is that the phone? Uh-oh. That might be a weave issue. Well, there it goes.
Let me move. Hold on. Oh! They tripping.
The phone right there. Another phone.
Yeah.
Kick. Good front
Boom.
kick.
Nice kick.
Shirt's open now. The phone's on her leg. All right. That was good.
Is forcefully removing somebody's wig assault?
I didn't get a good view of who initiated contact there.
Me neither, but I feel like if you rip somebody's wig off, you're not actually assaulting them. Is something that's attached to you part of you?
Yes, there is actual Supreme Court precedent on that. It's like a landmark case about assault in which it was actually racially motivated. This is before hate crimes, where there was an African American person walking through I think it was a buffet line or a lunch line, and a white person came up and slapped the plate out of his hand, and they arrested him for assault, and he fought it and said, I never touched him. And they said, just to your point, what's attached to you is you for the purposes of assault.
Somebody said if we saw the videos from Hard Rock, there was a South Point bowling brawl that was pretty good that I just saw. It was pretty wild. Seems like there's a lot of fights. Are we just?
Yeah, everyone's
Are we just
agitated.
on edge. We're just on edge. We're just trying to fight.
Yeah, the world's on edge.
Wait, is something going on? Why is everyone?
I have a buddy who's been flying like every other week for work and stuff, like cross country, and he's like, dude, it's an intense situation every single time in and around the plane. Like everybody's on edge. Like, is there going to be something going on here? Is there going to be an anti-masker? Is there going to be like, what's about to happen? And then like part of the way through the flight, when nothing happens, everybody sort of settles down and thinks everything's going to be okay.
I've been on several flights. There's definitely a lot of tension. That's definitely going on. I don't think there's any question about that. That people are.
I'm listening.
I don't know if it's.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's stress in general or if it's the stress of travel and just having all the different restrictions in place and all that stuff. But it definitely is like a different experience to fly, even though I think it's much more calm because there's nobody there. The people that are there seem very worked up, and I guess it's excusable on some level that everybody is kind of feeling that way.
How does everyone think the Vegas roads have been? Now that we've got more people out there, are people driving more aggressively? About the same? What do you see, Adam?
I mean, I feel like Vegas roads have always been kind of out of control. I haven't noticed it anymore now. In fact, I still think we're not back to full capacity on the roadways. So it's kind of been nice in that regard. I think that every once in a while we're getting a chance to actually drive without roads all the way backed up, without waiting for 6 lights by the time you get through an intersection, things like that. That's been kind of nice. I'm not.
I don't
saying,
know, man. I've seen you take the 215 like I do.
Yeah,
dude, there's been an accident on the 215 like every single freaking day. There's not enough cars to justify that. So some people are forgotten or need to brush up on their driving skills.
Yeah, but I mean that's always been the case, and I guess the problem that you have with less cars is that people can go faster, right? Mm-hmm. So that might be the cause of more accidents because usually on the roads here, you can't even. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not more accidents; it's just bad ones. I guess is the point. Is like every time there was 5 days in a row right at Decatur and 215, big accident. Multiple lanes blocked, and that's just my way home. So I happen to notice it.
Ari, with the silver lining of this whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there's less bars open. Yeah, less drunk drivers. That probably is the case. Oh no, the death on 215, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right, we need to pick me up. That was a bummer, Clary. Come on.
Yeah, what the hell?
Let's punch up this can't be recent, right? The South Point have the bowling center open?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, everybody was posting it like yesterday, like it was now. Yes, there's masks.
Yeah, why not bowling?
Sharing balls?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, no one's going to touch my balls. Seriously, you're not touching my bowling balls. I've got my straight ball, and I've got my freaking hooker.
Wait, hooker. You bring them with you?
Yeah, I had a couple of bowling balls when I was in the bowling leagues with the Markness and Mitch Moss and our good friend Julie.
Yeah, that's the worst.
What do you
You
mean?
can't have your own ball. You just use
Why?
the community ball.
No.
I'm,
Get the good
I'm
grip.
being-
Get the good grip with the fingers.
who cares? You just throw it.
You
Doesn't
throw
matter.
it. You suck.
I'm terrible.
You average a 103. I want to bowl decently. I aspire to be great.
Okay.
How
How much better do you think your average is than if you didn't use your own ball?
20 pins.
Is that worth it to drag the ball around?
Yeah, what am I? Am I fucking rolling it around? I've got a bag.
Right, yeah, but then
I've got a nice Jets bag. Got
walking in with a bowling ball and probably each hand because you have one straight ball and one hook ball.
Is he not going to listen? I just said it. It's like a freaking little pull cart.
You got the cart?
Oh
bro.
my god!
Are you bowling in the 200s?
No. Do I bowl 200 games? Of course.
Yeah. All right.
My average was like 180.
All right. If you're rolling in that shit, you better be in the 200s pretty consistently.
all of a sudden, we're gonna have the non-athletes start lecturing the bowler. Get out of here.
Are you considering bowler an athlete?
Yes.
Yeah. Who's the non-athlete here? Wait, hold on.
You come from the wrestling world. You guys are very limited athletically. You're not hand-eye guys. We know that for a fact.
No, bro. That's harsh. That's overly harsh.
You came at me.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you this. I can't play a lick of basketball, but I played baseball. I ran cross country. I did judo. I did a lot of sports.
Yeah, exactly. There's no hand-eye. You're running
baseball,
straight.
Bro.
Baseball.
I was a catcher. Yeah.
Were you good?
I was all right.
I
I was a great catcher. I wasn't a great hitter, but I have bad vision, dude. That has nothing to do with athleticism.
Yeah.
It's like I can't see shit, but in wrestling, you don't need to see anything.
I agree, Robert. Justin just bragging about his athletic.
He's fucking talking about you, bro.
Yeah,
He's talking about you and your fucking bowling balls.
It does take a certain level of athleticism to, and I'm serious. I do bowl better when I throw back a decent number of beers because I chill out. Again, I've told the story of all the anxiety I have when I bowl. I actually never look at the score the entire time. There's a lot of times where in the 10th frame, if I mark, I'll start to go sit down, and they're like, "No, keep going. It's the 10th," and I'm like, oh, "Okay." I never look at the score ever. I'm a lunatic.
How much does a bowling ball cost, by the way?
I don't remember. I mean, I don't know. We have any bowlers in the room? What's like a decent bowling ball?
Dude,
60,
bowling's a parlor game, man.
And then you go up from there.
Okay.
If you could be drunk and fat and do okay at it, it's a parlor game.
$200 for a bowling ball? This is
Whoa.
That's insane.
Oh, there's really high end ones. I'm not good enough to be investing that level.
Is there a good secondary market for the bowling balls out there?
I think I actually got both of the balls I have used. So because I'm again value player, cheap.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
I respect that about you.
Thank you. I found out something that it blew me away. And we're still deciding if we're going to have a full breakdown of the entire show. I found out for the first time ever that Ari, the producer, really likes basketball. Did you have any idea of that, Adam?
No.
Did you hear that on the podcast, the expose, that Ari appeared on a podcast and was talking about the station? And they asked him if he had any amount of money for like a one-time purchase, like what would be his dream purchase? And of course, he stumbled and stammered and had nothing to say for a minute. When he finally got to it, they kind of got into the subject of like having a nicer house or a nice house. And one of Ari's dreams is to put a basketball court outside, like to have a hoop. And I was like, I never knew that about Ari. He's like, yeah, I really like basketball. I played up until I was like 13. I'm like, blown away. Never knew that.
But I also, like, you took it as he wanted a basketball court. Like, I took that as, like, he just has seen that on Cribs, and he's like, oh, that's what, like, a hip-hop guy would have.
Dude, if you listen if you weren't sidetracked
I tried.
by all of his bashing of the station and especially me, I stayed clear. I didn't get emotional, as he called me a child later in the podcast. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that he's a big basketball guy. So see what you find out, Justin, when you actually listen to people talk to someone you work with. It's kind of fascinating.
No, I get it.
But also, I don't feel like if you played up until 13, you're really a basketball guy.
We might have a setup here. We might have a setup. Maybe we're going to find out this guy's a freaking 3-point whiz.
I doubt it.
Right.
Kofi, you good horseshoer?
He has his own horseshoes.
I don't think I've played enough to know. I think I could be decent at it, just like cornhole. Why are you really good horseshoer? I mean, it's hand-eye, so yes, it should be decent.
What? Yeah. You can't just you can't have never done it and then say, yeah, I'd be able to pick it up. I'd be good at it. I was just wondering because you talk about things to put.
I said cornholer. Someone said I'm in rare form tonight, and then you're yelling at me that I am confident that I am decent at everything because I am, except for like real sports where you have to. Well, is it sports? Anyway, anytime you got to use a sight or you got to aim, that's where I'm not good. Like I'm not good at archery, and my guess is like I'll get off a lot of shots with a gun, but I'm not going to hit anybody.
Oh, see, that's where I'm good. That's where my bad sight works in my favor because I'm like I got one good eye and one eye that's not as good, and I don't have to do the whole close my eye when I shoot thing. I can shoot with both eyes open, and that does all right. But no, I'm not great. You're not fucking good at golf. Stop it with this hand-eye shit. You're good at pretty much everything. You ain't good at golf.
Okay, good. I guess decent. You're right. I'm not good at golf. I've turned into a gorilla, and my swing's terrible. So,
wait, Justin, have you played golf with him?
Yeah, we played.
Yeah, I played with him a couple times.
I'm like hooking the ball over the course, just topping the ball. I stink. I have no patience. I just want to drink. And Truth from Duluth is right. Good at everything it means great at nothing. You're right. Yeah. I can accept that. What I'm saying, I would say, wouldn't you say if you can shoot if you're shooting in the 90s in golf, you're still above average as compared to the average person?
Or somebody who just picks up clubs and goes out?
I'm just talking about the population. Like the male population, if you can shoot in the 90s, like you're a little above the average person. No?
I think that's right. Like I think if the average person who doesn't play golf grabs the clubs and goes out there and tries, I think they're like 120. Right?
No, like way higher, dude.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm saying way higher. Like as somebody who spent a couple summers caddying, Justin, I have seen some horrific golfers who actually play somewhat regularly and are shooting in like the 110s, 120. I think if you just took a guy and go pick up and say, hey, go play, and you haven't played, I think you can go like 160s, 170s.
Yeah, well, the people who are going 160s, 170s, then they're like, they're not keeping that actual score. Nobody's writing down 160. But I'll just use myself as an example. I used to play golf once a year at annual golf tournament. I do maybe twice a year, but I never went to the range. I never practiced. I just get up there and just swing as hard as I could. And if I made contact, maybe it'd go somewhere. And if I kept score, it was somewhere like between 120 and 130 each of the rounds, like 2 rounds a year. But then this year I started taking golf lessons. I was like, we're gonna build it from the ground up. And so like today I shot a 95.
Wow.
But I want to be in the 80s. That's what I'm working towards. I'm not going to stop the lessons until I'm in the 80s.
Senior tour one day?
No, I just want to be like we get the opportunity to play some really nice courses, and what I do with some of the business vendors we work with, they offer to take us some like awesome freaking places and go to these amazing destinations and golf courses. And Matt is in the mid 80s, the low 80s golfing. So he's always like, hell yeah, I'm gone. Let's go. And he goes and I'm like, I don't want to go. And just because I don't want to be the guy who everybody's waiting on, who can't hit the ball in the air and is throwing his clubs off the cliff and I'm that guy. So I'm just trying to get into the 80s.
Have you played Shadow Creek?
Yes.
Oh, what a course.
I played that. I played 3 times in the last 3 years before I started taking golf lessons, and each of those 3 times was Shadow Creek.
Wow. How fancy you are. I don't play golf unless it's Shadow Creek. That's what Justin
No, it was a mandate. You have to do it. But anyway, I'm getting there. I'm starting to. I like nobody likes to hear golf stories, but I started today with 2 straight pars, and I thought this is the day I'm going to get in the 80s, and then I completely shit the bed.
I think that this might have been the course that you and I played. If we've played like 3 times, didn't we? Did we play that? We play the course on the west side? Is it Red Rock? Did we play that charity tournament like a couple of summers? It was Mark got us in. I thought we played a couple times, but we definitely played in Henderson, and I thought it was Dragon Ridge or one of those over there.
It was both the times I thought. 2 of the times I could think of, it was with Hackensack. I thought.
Okay. All right.
One was on the west side. I thought it was at Bears Best, but it might have been Red Rock. And then one time I thought was Silverstone out on the northwest.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah.
That whole debacle. Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, pay $40,000 extra for a golf course view. Well, not anymore. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. South Point fight. I don't know how we got off on what a great athlete Justin is claiming he is, but we did.
What? That's you, bro. I never said that shit.
Wow.
Where the fuck is security at?
That is a great comment. Because normally when you saw the fight between the 2 ladies at the hotel, like everyone's like, keep going, keep going, keep going. This guy's like, this is beneath me. Where's security? I'm just going to say right now, I haven't been to the South Point in a while, but based on most of the security I see at most of the hotels, they're not equipped to stop this fight.
No.
They're generally older gentlemen and women who are going to give a good go at it. Ready? I'll kick.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Jump kick.
Oh, there's a lot of people involved in this. This guy with the earring, this guy with the striped shirt, he's got some good hands. They're pretty fast there.
With the gray sweatsuit?
Yeah, it was nice. Guy likes to kick.
Oh, there you go.
The ball. Comes the ball.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part here. If someone picks up a ball, used or new, from my bag or not, it's going to hurt.
Oh, did you see there is the one security guy there? He's like...
with the mask on. Here you go.
Oh, my God. What is he going to do? Is he going to mace? This guy's squaring up.
Yeah.
Adam Hill like with his gym shorts on. I want to see there's a lady on the right behind the big fella squaring up. I want to see her get involved. What is going through his head right now? And don't be all freaking crass. What's going through his head right now? How is he going to break up a brawl with like 12 people?
I think
He's reaching to the right. What is he going to do?
I hope that he just asked them all to put masks on.
Ray says this gets better. What?
What? Great. All right, let's see it.
Oh God, I'm scared. Was that a ball? Was that a ball?
What?
That could not be a ball.
What?
Watch, ready? Dude. Yeah. Something comes flying in. The guy, he actually notices someone's gonna.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Where?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Hold, ready?
In the head?
Nope, he missed him.
Oh, he missed it.
I told you this is one of the worst places to have a fight. This guy in the background's running for a hot dog or something. Something's going on.
Dude,
There's a running motion.
I gotta give props to the guy in the gym shorts, man. He's got his head on a swivel. He was ready for that.
That was like the Matrix. He like bent backwards.
Yeah.
Yes. Cat-like. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
One more time with the bowling ball. Someone's down. Went back a little too far.
All right.
Big fella slowing down a little bit. No, he's got a good overhand right. Here comes the bowling ball. Oh, shit. This guy's going to...
Oh, look at the security guard grabs the guy who's barely doing anything.
Oh, man. All right. Maybe I have the short version.
No, it's the bowling ball. That's the good part.
Wow.
Just out of the way of it.
It's my crazy screen. That was bad. What happens if you hit someone with a bowling ball? Like, hey, he was punching me. That's the appropriate response. Like, I don't know about that.
Woo. I don't know how a jury would feel about that. Whether they feel like that's unreasonable escalation. I mean, it's certainly escalation, right? But whether it's unreasonable escalation based on what kind of punches were being thrown, it's not like you can't die from punches. You can. It'd be interesting to hear how attorneys would frame that issue and characterize that escalation. I don't know. I mean, and who threw it? You know, if the person who threw it was getting beaten down by 2 or 3 different people, got knocked out a couple times, it kind of came to, maybe they'd have something to go with. But yeah, I think it's a deadly weapon.
Could you make the argument that getting hit with somebody that throws a bowling ball at you is an act of God because God created that person?
I don't know what.
God created a person. The person threw the
Stop
ball.
it.
It's an act of God. No, I think we should agree that any throwing of a bowling ball during a fight should be ruled an unreasonable escalation of force.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. And it does not matter on the damage inflicted. If you try to shoot somebody and you only hit their pinky, it's still attempted murder.
That's good.
Most effective way of throwing a bowling ball, overhand or underhand in a fight?
That's two hands. Like a
that's a good point.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the answer. You're like a shot put and doing that.
No, because you can't. The accuracy is just off because it's impossible to find a release point on a one-handed overhand. You got to do like a soccer throwing. That one,
dude. But if you happen to get lucky and grab the little pink ball that's only like 4 pounds, you might, and you're a real athlete, you might be able to do the flip soccer and really get some range on it.
Has anyone on this podcast been close to thinking about doing the flip throw-in? Come on now.
I've never thought about throwing a bowling ball at somebody.
Be the ball is good advice. That's solid.
Yeah, I think Robert was complimenting, and then he was a smart ass. He's like, "You've added an hour, have not missed a beat, but maybe 2 beats." All right, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Fundamentals. You're right. Basketball. Why not do a chest pass?
Yeah, you could. I just feel you get more power on the throw in.
This is a case where you
depends on your height too. Like I'm gonna have to go from the chest because I gotta get it up.
Yeah,
you know, sure. Adam can bring it down. He's gonna have a little bit more force and authority and impact there.
Hold on, I have to show this. No, I gotta show this video again. Come on over here. Where the hell is it? Justin, are you a fan of the sounds gonna come up here? Are you a fan of Barkley and Shaq, the fights that go on?
Yeah, I like that.
I just thought of this. If Barkley or Shaq had a bowling ball during this fight, who would have thrown it? Who do you think would have lost it?
Wow.
Because this was actually calm Barkley. Like they were ganging up on him, and he got all demure. And for some reason, Shaq was. I don't know why I love this bite, but it's like Shaq gets so pissed off because Barkley's talking about James Harden. He's like, he's the best one-on-one player ever. And you'll hear Shaq. He's like, don't say ever. I'm telling you, don't like. And it's his voice and everything. You're like, he's going to throw a bowling ball. Ready? Watch Shaq get completely pissed off here.
James Harden is the best one-on-one player I may have ever seen in my life. You can spread.
Ever seen in your life?
Here we go. Look, Shaq's sleeping right now. Like he's in a deep slumber. He's 60 feet away from Barkley. And all of a sudden he wakes up and it's like, Rrr!
In my life.
No. I mean, James is the best of this era.
Stop it. No, hold on for a second. Don't say in your life. Stop it. I'm helping you out. Stop it.
It's not in your life.
Don't say in your life.
Just hold it. Just.
Don't say in your life. Like, why?
I do have a theory on this, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Shaq is taking it personally about Kobe. And that Kobe died, and you're like, if he's the other candidate here,
get out of here.
That's absolutely
Kobe.
The first time I watched it, that's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
You watch it again.
No. I mean, James is the best of this era.
Stop it.
No, hold on for a second.
Don't say in your life. Stop it.
I just feel like he's yelling at his kid, like, don't say in your life. Stop it. What is going on, Shaq? Why are you so mad?
That's like me coming out of my pre-podcast slumber to hop on here and start yelling about Karens.
That's Karen video. I love it. You guys would like this. you would love this Karen situation. I'm like, hey, I don't know what chord was struck, but calm down, man.
No, I just know that it's actually a compliment to you that you thrive in uncomfortable situations. You love them. I fucking hate them. I want nothing to do with them. I wish I was more like you. And that, like, when there's chaos going, that I just like absorb it and love it and participate in it, foster it and watch it grow.
Cause
and I just
it.
want to get the fuck out of there.
By the way, I love Mark. Mark was saying Shaq threw a ball at Chuck on the court one time in '99. Now he's saying it was actually the other way. So I think that's the case.
Chuck threw it at him.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, Barkley has busted Shaq's balls so many times that he finally snapped. It was Adam the other day when you were in studio. By the way, how uncomfortable did that get in studio?
Oh, for Justin?
When Adam and I were going back and forth, Justin, and all of a sudden, like, you kind of jumped in to calm it down, but like I was going to be Shaq. Like Shaq was Adam. Like he was going to come across it, freaking start punching me.
No, I fucking totally missed all of it. I mean, I knew that Adam was worked up about it, and I actually was not trying to calm down at all. I was like, God, let's go with this. And so I was into it because I didn't know any of the backstory. And I'm like, hey, man, Adam really cares about this issue. Let's see where this goes.
He does. And he explained it off the air. I get it. I will never do it again. Let's close on this one. You ready? I love side-by-side pictures and examining the evidence here. This is a very important case. Apparently, there's something going on with Michael Strahan and a game-worn jersey. So here's the story up on TMZ. Everyone in the chat room, if you can see the picture when it pops up here, it might be too small, but we'll see if you can make a judgment call because I was trying to go point by point on the jersey and see if I could figure it out. So Michael Strahan, 2 Super Bowl 42 jersey surface, war raging over which one is fake. So I'll show you the jersey. That's him in the jersey in the middle. Auction. And then he says he has the game-worn jersey at home. Now, there's a big difference between the Strahan house and the auction. We can all see that, right?
Mm-hmm. The thing that doesn't make sense. So I went back and forth. The first thing I did, I didn't even read the story. I just went right to the pictures, and I was just in on them. And I'm like, okay, clearly there's some red shit on Strahan's. And I was like, I wonder if that's like champagne, wine, whatever the fuck, from Celebration. Turns out that's what Strahan is saying. But the thing that doesn't make any fucking sense to me is
the streaks.
Yeah.
You look at the streaks on the 2 and the 9, and see, but that's not on the field.
No.
But the auction one has none of that.
No, the thing that throws me off is the shoulder pads of Strahan's. All that green shit and dirt, like that's his jersey's clean. But then I thought the auction one is too perfect. It's like almost like they took and matched up the marks almost perfectly. And I'm like, and nothing happened to that jersey in the locker room after they just won the Super Bowl. They didn't go celebrate, and there's nothing else got on this jersey. That doesn't make sense to me either.
Is it as far as the grass goes, Justin, couldn't he have maybe like after this, then he lays down in the grass and like does like snow angels or whatever and like gets it?
Yeah, with all the confetti?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was it? I don't know. I ultimately at the end of the day, I think I'm going with the auction. I think the auction got it right because Strahan says I gave the jersey to a dude and told him to keep it, and he's like, and so then when I got home. I had the jersey. Like, well, that dude sold you out.
But if you're gonna have like a, I guess they don't know they're gonna sell it. Why would you ever wash it? Is what I'm getting at. Because if the auction one, it was clearly washed.
I don't think so. It looks exactly the same fucking marks. Look at next to the C, man. That mark is identical, dude, in shape, texture, or not texture, but I mean coloration. Everything, man. It's exact.
This is a good question from David Clary. He says, was the game photo taken before the game or after?
Oh, I think that's pretty obviously after.
He could be getting people fired up on the sideline.
I don't know.
Tough call.
I think his jersey is pretty clean on him there, and so I don't know.
In the end, how would we legally determine this?
So the auction got forensic expert to two of them to look at the photographs and they said they're 100% consistent. This is the jersey. That's a pretty good fucking start. But I'm just gonna say, legally speaking, in the court of law, just saying, I looked at photographs and I could tell that this thing is exactly what's in the photograph doesn't hold up always.
Right.
There is no acceptable science that says 100% that when you're analyzing a photograph, you can match it up with a real, tangible 3D object. There is science to say that this picture is real or not, but there's an art to it. It's not perfect 100% science.
Well, how much would, in this case, it's tough because he's the one claiming it, but how much does the word of the person whose it was count?
It would count a lot if he said, I literally took this jersey off and put it in this frame and put it on my wall. It never left my hands. It would mean a lot. But he says, I gave it to this dude and told him to put it somewhere safe. And then that dude sold them out, man. Went and bought a replica jersey and then put some shit on it and dumped some wine on it and fucking gave it to him.
DNA test the grass. I like that. I like that solution.
Yeah, that's pretty good. The grass is probably gone. But you could, I wonder if you could look at the stain and they could tell what kind of grass that stain came from and confirm that it's the same type of grass that field had. That'd be something. Good thinking, guys.
Nice. The investigation's over. The podcast is over. We'll see you tomorrow night at 10:30. Was that a genuine closeout? And was that good enough? Is that fine?
It wasn't too bad.
Hey, everybody. We really appreciate you coming on. By the way, I think I nailed it. I nailed it with Jeannie Zelasco today.
You did.
The back end was good on the close of the Jeannie Zelasco interview. The front end was a disaster because I talked about her as a legend of broadcasting, and then I looked up our ages, and I'm like, she's 3 years older than me. So I'm sorry, Jeannie. She came in, she's like, I'm not that old. I'm like, oh, shit. It's awkward every day, Justin. Every day. One of us F something up.